I am Linda Deer, and this guy right here.
And I'm not Linda Deer. I'm Ray Holly, the Chief Technology Officer behind the curtain.
Yeah, he's good. Ray's good. Sometimes the technology's not good, but Ray's always on his game. Like always, we are always so happy to be here with you guys on Tuesdays live, discussing Linda's weekly guided insight that's published every Tuesday. Okay, be sure you sign up for it. All right, so In Two Worlds with Linda Deer and Ray Holly. Welcome to episode number 257 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from Linda's Spirit Guide Angels on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Tonight, the guides will explain how attending to what enters your awareness is so important. Attending to what enters your awareness. The takeaway from this week's episode is you will know what to do with what enters your awareness. Here's what this will do for you. You will be more aware of how to spend your focus. And here's what I want you to do with it. Realizing how you spend your focus will improve your awareness, producing a vibrant life. And how it works. Attending to what enters your awareness will change your entire life. It's a straight shot to your guides. That's because you are present, open, and aware. That's your winning hand. Awareness that only happens occasionally is not a winning hand because it's not reliable or consistent. You must write down those gems of awarenesses in chronological order in your journal because, like a storyboard, you will see the consistency of awarenesses pointing you true north. It's a journey and not a short-sighted goal. It will become obvious as your awareness improves. Say goodbye to being consciously impaired, the result of being controlled by an insecure ego. Attending to what enters your awareness is living a guided life. Okay, Ray, so what do you have? Ray always takes these insights and looks at it from a left brain perspective, a logical perspective. And I look at these insights in conjunction with Ray's insights about what he's researched. And I look at it from a right brain perspective, from living in two worlds. Okay? So go ahead, Ray.
Well, I like the idea that the guides talked about this week about some people look inwardly and look at focus on their inward path, their inward awareness, while other people are always looking outside, and those are the people that live their life on autopilot. Like
they're looking for validation. They want to belong. They want to be included. They want to make sure that they're getting permission to doing the right things when they never needed that in the first place. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so I looked into why do people like to focus externally, in this world, and
just in this world, not interfacing it with the world that you came from, who it is you really are. Okay.
They're not looking to meditate. They're not meditators. They're not spiritually aware people. They look externally, like you said, for their validation.
Right.
And why they do that is they have this need to share in something. You've heard about the belongers, the group called the belongers. They feel best when they belong to something.
Now, Ray knows this really well. You want to know why?
And from the Midwest.
So tell them about the belongers.
Well, the belongers it's a social study that was done years and years ago in the country up into different types of people. And the biggest group was the belongers. They want to feel that they
And where do they
belong.
come from, Ray?
Mostly from the Midwest.
Isn't
you
that
know.
interesting?
And then you
Yeah.
have other groups that are more chasing something, like people who are always on the go, go.
They
go.
want to be somebody.
Right.
They
right.
want to matter.
They want to change who they are.
They want to make a difference.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And
But it's about how they go about doing it. That's off track. Okay, go ahead.
right. Okay. So people who feel like they want to belong, which is a big majority, they want to share in something. They want to be a member of a community or a group, or they embrace an ideology or a religion.
Right.
It could be a religion ideology, it could be a political ideology. They want to, they have a team. They have their team.
Okay, that's sports.
Right.
Okay.
So they want to feel like they belong to this group that follows that ideology. That's their community.
Right.
That's all chasing things. That's all outward things. They, a lot of them like to be told what to do. They don't like to make up their own mind make their own decisions.
Well, that's because people have not been taught how to think. Think for themselves. Trust who they are. Know who they are. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
They need to believe in a cause. They need to think that their life has a purpose.
Now that's everybody. Everybody comes in with on a mission, really. Everybody comes here not by accident at all. Everybody comes here to achieve something, had something in mind. In fact, I want you guys to know that you spent more time planning your life with your guides before you came here than it would take to live it out in a single lifetime. You spent more time planning this. So why would you want to miss it? Why would you just want to follow somebody else and that be good enough and miss your life, miss what it is that you planned to achieve? Okay.
How many people, we used to run into people like that when you ask them how they doing, how you feeling? Oh, good enough.
Fine.
How's your life going? Oh, good enough.
No, not good. Usually what you hear people
Fine.
say is to blow you off is fine. I'm fine. They're pretty far from fine. If they're saying fine, if you're saying fine, you're putting off something that isn't okay. It's far from fine. Okay.
Or else you're putting up with things that are pretty bad, pretty negative in your life.
Putting up with
things. There
right. Putting up with things is the whole, it doesn't matter what it is. You're putting up with things. You're compromising. You're tolerating. Okay. Go ahead, Ray.
You've given into something like pain or illness or boredom, or because all the people that you hang out with have given into the same thing. That's why you're friends. That's. I mean, I've had six back operations now. Oh, I've had 4 operations on my back and 3 on my knees, and it's their bond. It's like a.
That's some geezer stuff he's talking about
like
right there.
Pain Olympics.
That's just one version of trying to fit in. That's what happens when you get older. If you're really not connected with yourself, your guidance, what's really important, why you came here and what you came here to achieve. If you haven't done that, you're going to be doing all the things Ray's talking about. You're going to be drifting and floating, and you're trying to fit in and lonely and sad and huge regret because you missed your life. Okay.
And not only do they give in to give up or give in, they're kind of about the same thing,
They are.
To a negative force, to a negative situation. Another big thing, looking outward, is routine. Their life runs on routine.
Right.
On Tuesdays, we do the grocery shopping. On Fridays, we go to the fish fry at the Elks.
Boring. Totally boring. Okay. I'm not talking about a life of chaos and
excitement.
Like things that are just you could do without. Okay. I'm not talking about any of that. But that is to the point And routine's okay to a point, and then you've got to disrupt the routine to find out, to shake up your world, to find out what you've been missing. What is it that has been attempting to enter your awareness, but you've been caught up in routine, predictability, fitting in, belonging, comfort zone, the same thing all the time, no disruption, no excitement, nothing interesting. You're not open at that point. You're not open to what's available to you in the present moment, because you have your life pre-planned. It's okay to have your life planned, but you've got to have some breathing room in there. Example, when I get up in the morning, I get up before Ray does. And I get my coffee, and I do, I take my vitamins, and, I get things ready for Ray when he gets up so that it's nice. And I get to work on my, fan mail, and I go to work on all the things that I love this project. I love everybody I work with. And, taking care of the people, the fan base first. That comes from here. That's not something I can plan. I don't never know what to expect when I turn my computer on in the morning and I see what comes up. I never know. Sometimes what'll happen, attending to what enters my awareness, something will come up I totally didn't expect. I click on it. I go there. I read it or listen to it or watch it, and it changes my whole day. I attend to what entered my awareness. I attend to what I felt. Not everything. I mean, junk mail, you get all kinds of junk. I don't go into any of that. But I follow the intuition. I follow what I feel and I let it pull me that way. And I look into it. It may turn out that it was no good for me, but I needed to take a look at what that was so that I could move it aside and not be distracted by it going forward. Like I didn't miss something, like I didn't just blow over everything because I had my day planned, right? Okay, sometimes I'll wake up with the dream. Sometimes Ray will have the dream and he'll tell me his dream and I'll go, oh man, that's exactly what I was working on before you got up, before you woke up and told me what your dream was, So these are things that they're gifts. They're what you didn't expect that day that entered your awareness. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
But we get a lot of stuff, like you say, early in the morning, we sit down, we go through our stuff on our emails. I mean, between the two of us, we probably get 150 or more emails every morning.
Yeah.
So people bring a lot of things into our awareness
They do.
that we weren't expecting.
They do.
And
our fan base does.
And they're very good. They're very
Absolutely.
Good. Not all of them,
But I'll tell you what, most of them are excellent. So sometimes we don't have time in the daytime. So Ray and I agree that at dinner time, we'll listen to it. Or at, when we go to bed, we'll make it a point to send it over to where we're going to watch it, and we'll watch it then. But we fit it in, you guys. So it's a conscious effort to attend what entered your awareness. Don't blow these things off.
What's interesting to see is that as more and more people wake up and become more awareness, that we get the same thing from a lot of people. A lot of people send us the same thing.
The same thing that we just saw.
Right.
Right.
Right. Same thing. They're all sending the same thing. So they're all reading the same things.
So we're all on the same vibe,
Mm-hmm.
We're all vibing to the same thing. And it's just a connection, you guys. You have a connection, the same connection to your guides. Basically, there's really no surprises. When these things enter your awareness, it's almost many times it's confirmation of the dream you had, of what you felt was coming, of what you already knew, of what you wrote in your journal that, wow, there it is. It just showed up in my outer world. That's interesting. Okay. That's what entered your awareness. It's important to write these things down. I'm going to take out the journal, my journal writing, the 15 minutes a day. Each journal entry has 2 pages. that you enter into there, what entered your awareness, what was unusual and out of the ordinary that day. You write it right here in this part. And then you ask yourself how it felt and you write it down there. And I'm not talking about, oh, it felt okay. Yeah, it was nice. I don't know. It wasn't so good. No, I'm talking about really, really inquiring within you about how that really felt. When you work with me in a training session, I really, really get in there with you and find out what that was, because it's in how you felt about that awareness that will give you the rest of it, that will free you, that will liberate you, that will empower you to realize what it is and then take the action. Okay. So this is my journal writing. This is a critical part of becoming conscious in your life, you guys, and not missing the awarenesses, what entered your awareness, and how to take and write it down, make a note, even if it's shorthand, okay, until you have time later on to write it out. But don't let it slip. Don't let it slip through and just, say, oh, I've got some other stuff to do, like I have to go put gas in my car. That is not a priority over what entered your awareness. Learn to capture those moments. Those are important. Those will lead you back to yourself. You'll never doubt yourself again. Therefore, you'll never buy into the fear. Okay. Fear is being sold wholesale right now. The world is on wholesale fear right now. So do this work so you don't fall into that. All right.
Yeah, it seems like every news channel selling the same
It
fear.
is.
Same
It's
fear.
totally over the top. And you see it. And if you're not in tune with yourself, you're going to be, oh my God, what do I do? I'm going to die. I mean, you really, it'll have you. Okay. So you've got to do this work. You've got to attend to what enters your awareness for 15 minutes a day. My journal writing, 15 minutes a day. That's it. That's it. That's an investment in you. It's an investment in your consciousness. It's an investment in your sanity. Okay.
A good thing to write down would be, what is it that scared you that day?
Really? I mean, if something got a hold of you and really scared you, that deserves to be looked into. That deserves research. Get on the internet and look into just how valid that fear is and flush it out and find out what exactly is going on within you. I can almost promise you that the fear is overkill. Okay.
I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the guides had a good acronym for fear, FEAR. It said, see if I can remember it. It said, face everything and research.
Right. Right. That's how you overcome the fear, because the fear is an illusion. Love is not. Fear is an illusion, you guys. It's what happens when you are under someone else's control. You don't want that. That doesn't serve you.
When you're afraid, you can't think straight.
No, you're at somebody else's becking call.
No, you're lost in the woods by yourself. It's getting cold, getting dark. You're afraid. You can't think straight.
Right.
You can't see which way is out.
Right. That's
How
right.
to get out of fear.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I even talk about that in Guided when I was on a trip with my mom and dad, and they took us to Yellowstone Park, and we went way, way back into a lake that was off the map. And my mom and dad were real adventurous. We all went back in, and on our way back, I got separated from the family and I lost my way. And I drifted off, and I had all the peanut butter sandwiches with me. And this lake where this area was in the wilderness was consumed with grizzly bears. I had the peanut butter sandwiches,
Yeah,
right?
grizzly bears love peanut butter.
And I freaked out. I mean, I was so scared and I was crying and I didn't know what to do. I sat myself down on a log, looking out over the water. And I said to myself, okay, stop it. Stop freaking out. And I took a breath and I got the guidance to retrace my steps, to go back where I started, where I began, where I traveled off, where I began. And I stood there and I just felt it. I just felt it. I felt my way back and I started moving that way. It was getting dark and I started moving that way. And what happened? I ran into my family. It only happened when I quit buying into the fear, when I quit being afraid. When you are in fear, nothing can enter your awareness. You are at the mercy of the fear that will control you. It won't help you.
That's why when you write down what you're afraid of and you put it through the questioning process, well, I'm being afraid of that. How does that make you feel?
Really feel the
Feel.
truth about, not, oh, it scared me. No, that's not an answer. The answers are in the details. You've got to write down the details of how it made you feel. Once you have that information on the pages, then you will have an instant realization. You can't even stop it. And from that realization, you will have your power back to take the action.
Okay, I just had a little, what do you call it? A realization.
Right.
People say they like to be organized. When people say when their life is very boring and routine
And predictable.
and yeah, right. So they like to say they're organized. They have a very organized life.
I'm that way.
Okay, so organized equals routine, which then, if you carry it further, equals stuck.
Okay, let me rephrase that. In my case, I'm organized. I do have a routine, but I float inside of it. I let it float. If something else comes and it requires that I attend to that, it entered my awareness. I don't squander that gem of a moment. I don't just blow it off and go, well, at the expense of my routine, I can't have that right now. That doesn't fit my routine. No, I let go of my routine because you know what? What's good about a routine is already in play. You don't have to worry about losing what your routine has in play for you that day. It's not going anywhere. So you have a room for what attends your awareness. You have room to attend to that because the routine is predictable. It's the same thing you've done every single day. No big deal. Okay. Just don't, like Ray said, don't let it consume you where it's all you have. And when something that comes through that's asking you to be aware, look, don't miss this. This is vital to your journey going forward. This is your true north. This is different than what your routine is going to show you. It's important that you pay attention to this. Write it down in that moment. Write it down. Break the routine. The routine's not going anywhere. You've done it a zillion times. You got that. Okay. Take that moment to write down what just entered your awareness. And you can answer about how it felt and then what you realized and the action you're going to take a half hour later or an hour later or 2 hours later, because you had your routine requires that you follow through on these things, but you've got it maybe in shorthand. You've got it so you can finish the process, but don't miss it. Don't miss what entered your awareness. It's like a dream you had. And if you don't write it down, the minute you remember it, it will dissipate and you will lose it again. Okay. And then that vital, that amazing information that's outside of the periphery of this world, that's there for you all the time. Guidance, true north. Okay. What's important for your journey going forward? The routine's good, but it's not your life. Get these two things right. Okay. They're both good, but you can interrupt your routine and take that moment for you. This is an investment in you.
Yeah, if you don't allow anything to disrupt your routine, you're so regimented, and a lot of times people think that's like being in the military. You do the same routine the same way. You do.
That's a non-thinking existence.
Right. You study martial arts and you do the same forms the same way. year after year after year after year. And
Gotta get to
you
this.
get stuck.
Right.
But what happens is that stuckness becomes habits. And they're not good habits. And those habits eventually roll into your
They're
destiny.
good. No, they're good habits, but not at the expense of missing what entered your awareness.
Okay.
These habits are good, but not when that's all you have. Okay. That's just being in this world. What enters your awareness came from this world. You're in two worlds, you guys. Okay. You're in this world, but this isn't the only world you're in. When you live a full life, when you live the life you intended before you got here, it includes the world you came from. So what enters your awareness, you bring it into this world. Okay. And then you've got the whole thing. That's the key in two worlds. All right. I'm going to go ahead and talk about, we're going to close the session with the spirit guides, closing message about attending to what enters your awareness, but I've got a few announcements. Okay. Join us next Tuesday, November 24th, Thanksgiving week, for episode number 258 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel using the search term Linda Deer. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about rethinking everything you thought you knew. Exactly what is it you think you know? Is what you think you know coming from the repetitious habits of things that you learned long ago? This is like living the same year over again for 50 years of your life and calling that a life. That is not a life. That is just 1 year of your life repeated 50 times. People must realize they have been living their lives on autopilot before they can even change. So don't miss us next Tuesday. This Saturday, November 21st at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from chapter 27 of Guided. You can watch me live on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel using the search term Linda Deer. So the closing message, we're going to have the guides close the session with their closing message about attending to what enters your awareness. If my work has changed your life in any way, share this video. Tell your friends about my website, about my books, about Tuesdays, about Saturdays, about our webinars, the last Saturday of the month, and on and on and on. We do a lot of stuff, you guys. The training, the coaching, all kinds of stuff. And even Ask the Universal Channel. We have a private Facebook group where you can learn to do this yourself with the help of our amazing teachers that Ray and I groomed for over 2 years.
Never think that something that came in to your awareness easily, that there's something wrong with that.
It's so natural. It feels like it came from you.
Never start criticizing your awareness. This judgment of new things is what will keep you stuck in a worried, nervous, and paranoid existence.
You're going to know it when you do it because you're going to feel those feelings. Don't buy into it. Don't let it have you. The best defense against it is the journal. Write these things down and answered the 4 qualifying questions. Write it down. How did it really make you feel? What did you realize? And now that you know that, what action are you going to take? Only then do you have the power to take action on something worthwhile.
Get out of that fear.
That's right. Don't buy into that fear. That fear, it takes your life away. Okay.
All right.
We'll see you guys Saturday. We'll see you next Tuesday.